Hi everybody, Adrienne here. I'm doing my first video tonight. Hooray! And I'm so excited to share with you the excitement. I'm going to create with you tonight something that just a brainchild of. I was wondering how I wanted to start out videoing, and I decided that the best way to do it would be to just do something simple my first time. So I'm going to do some very simple painting / misting techniques with some stamping and finish it off with some embellishments. So I'm going to go through quick what I'm going to use tonight. I found this awesome pink paisley print. It is pink paisley amazing. It is by the Portfolio. It's the Portfolio collection. I chose it because it had a cool pattern around the perimeter, but it also was kind of bare to me. It didn't have a bold print, which makes it easier for me to mist / paint and stamp and make it stand out. If I have like a really bold print, then I feel sometimes I'm fighting it with my misting, and I have to go in with gesso beforehand so it doesn't seep in and kind of blend in too much. But I thought that this was the best way to go tonight. We can dive into gessoing and my techniques for that a little bit another time. So let's quickly go through what I'm going to use. I'll go through by company. Pink Paisley Portfolio. I have some Lindy's Stamp Gang. They're sold in the Flying Unicorn store. I'm using Cotton Candy and Tibetan Poppy Teal. Two of my new favorites. Love those colors. Glimmer Mist. I'm using Crushed Shells. One of my absolute favorites. Beetle Black. I think the Crushed Shells is also in the Flying Unicorn. Something similar to this is I think called Black Magic. And also Glimmer Mist baseboard in Gravel. And Shimmers brand Tropical Tan Line. Another favorite of mine. As you can see, it is used and abused, and it's been a tried and true friend. And I'm so sad that they're discontinuing it. So, okay, so I'm going to shake those up, get them ready. I also had distressed a frame that I had gotten at Michael's. It was like a picture frame for like 50 cents a long time ago. It's been at least a year, if not more. It might have been a year and a half ago. It was originally a blue color, and I just painted over it to make it look shabby with some white paint, some white Martha Stewart acrylic paint. I also took my Prima Fairy Rhymes collection butterflies, and they're actually paper clips. They're really cool. And I just took some paint again and I painted around it. And I'll kind of soften it up a little bit. I think that I might stick it on the edge of my photo, but I kind of have to wait and see how things turn out. I'm one of those fly by the seat of your pants type scrappers. I don't really normally have a plan in mind. I just kind of do my own thing. Mostly just experimenting. I have found that it's just easier for me personally to just go in with an open slate and just see what happens. Sometimes I do, lay things down, and for this I did lay things so I kind of could get an idea of how I wanted it. But otherwise I kind of just enjoy the process and experiment with color. I absolutely love color. That's one of my favorites. I mean, if it weren't for color, we wouldn't be scrapping, right? So I'm really excited. Yay! So, okay, I'm going to turn this around because it's just easier for me. Maybe whenever I get more experience with this, I can, I'm just making sure that my screen isn't blurry. I hope not. Okay, so I'm going to go in. I'm just grabbing some brushes that are over here off to the side of the camera. And I just grab a whole bunch and kind of play around with them, because you never know what you're going to want to do. Okay, so I got my brushes here, and I'm just going to dip right in and start laying down my mist. Oh, inspiration piece. I guess I should share that. I am doing this picture of my daughter. It was taken at my brother's house. He has this awesome backyard, and in the very back, there's actually a horse farm right behind. This is a fence, and obviously it needs painted, but it made for a really cool photo of my daughter. It was taken about a month ago. She's getting so big. So it's really distressed, and I thought that it would be really cool in her. So when I go about picking out colors and embellishments and even pattern paper, I really like to play off the colors that are in my photo. So I'm seeing some pinks, and I see a little hint of teal on her shirt, and I also see those awesome browns and whites. Most of the time I add black to my layouts just to give it that dimension and pop that I absolutely love. I just love black. I used to be so afraid of black, and I never wanted to use it, and then during my experimenting I was just like, holy cow, I love how much texture black can give, even if it's just a small stamping in the background, or an accent color, in an embellishment like this. This is my favorite vine. It's a Prima Brenton vine from a couple years ago. I wish I could find these somewhere. It's my absolute favorite. This was from the Flying Unicorn kit, and some of the embellishments that I'm going to be using tonight are leftovers from the April kit. Here's another April kit. It's Prima Lifetime journaling stickers. I thought that they would complement this project well, so we'll see how it goes and if I can incorporate those. We've got some Prima Divine chipboard pieces and some Prima Sunrise Sunset metals. We also have Prima Lifetime paper flowers, and these are from the kit. This is from the kit. Okay, so I'm just using up my extras. All right, so here we go. All right, off to the side, and I'm going to move right along and just start laying down my colors. So I've been experimenting with my Glimmer Mist, my Lindy Stamp Gang, and I've been just really enjoying laying down color onto my paper, just how it lays, what should I put on first, how should I put it on. I found that I've really enjoyed the blotchiness that this gives, and I'm just I don't like wasting my mists, so I kind of go around. Sometimes I can't go, trying to make this easy to understand. I don't want my mist to be hidden underneath my photo and in my embellishments, because that's just a waste. That's wasting my mist. So I kind of just plan out ahead of time, sort of kind of what I'm going to do, and just go from there. don't know what that is. Dry up stuff. Okay. That's giving a cool effect. It's like a grayish, yellowish color, which is complementing these circles really well. Oh, it accidentally splattered. So I'm just gonna, and that's the fun part about creating, you know, you make a mistake, you just kind of go with it. Oh, the splatters are looking cool. I'm just gonna bring it up here so you can see. Okay, so I've made some inking here. Make sure that you put your tops on in between colors. I made that mistake a couple months ago and it literally almost ruined my layout. It was at the very end. I was just going back through with my black, and needless to say, it was I was able to fix it. If you do make a mistake, don't fret. You can always fix it. Most time. I mean, if I can fix black splattering all over my layout, then you know you can do anything. Okay, so I am just mixing in my cotton candy. Sometimes I just use the nozzle. I don't want to deal with a brush. I love squiggles and just really messy. Okay, so that's kind of getting it over there. Let's kind of go over here. I'm running out of time here, trying to race against this clock. Do this quickly so you guys kind of get an idea. Really laying it on with the pink. I'll probably go back and tone it down a little bit here in a second. What kind of gonna do in here a little bit? You can always lay down your embellishments at the end after you're done stamping, and if need be, add more mist. There's always room for more mist, unfortunately. So I'm just really going in there with the pink because I want to play off the cool, fun pink color of the Lindy's. Now obsessed with the Lindy's. That's not to say that I still don't love. I don't love my shimmers or glimmer mist anymore, which I do. I love all mists equally. Okay. Sometimes I just go in there with a baby wipe and just wipe up excess. I'm gonna blast it with my heat tool real quick. Of course, of all lights it does turn on. Alright guys, so I am back. I stopped my last video because uploading on YouTube, you can only have a certain amount of time. So far as that's what I've heard. So I didn't want to go over 14 minutes, or maybe I went a little bit over, but I am just going to do this in 2 segments, hopefully not 3, but I'm a chatty cat, so sometimes I'm probably going to go over. Just fast forward if I'm annoying, or you know, you just want to get to the point. And I'm still learning, so just be patient with me. Okay, I got my Brenton vine. You know, it comes in a pack and it's flat. You don't want flat, so you want to play with it a little bit. I'm just kind of giving my mist another minute to dry here. So that's much better. I'm fluffing, you know, the leaves, kind of playing around with them a little bit so I can kind of get a good. Okay. All right. I like how that looks. All right. Next, I'm going to continue on with the misting. So here's what it looks like right now. I got the pink up here, a little bit of yellow to kind of complement these fun circles here on the side. So I'm going to continue on. I have the perfect, you know, lineup for this. And I'm going to just add, here I go, again, adding more pink. Just a little bit down here to kind of even it out. Oh, there it goes. See? More splatters. Fun. Alright. Next I'm going to do, now you have to be really careful with, you know, accent colors. I'm going in with the Tibetan poppy teal. But I only want to do just a little bit. So I know, don't become overzealous, which I usually do, and then I end up having to go back over it with gesso or something to cover it up. I'm just going to use a very small brush and just go back in. And sometimes I'm just going to flick it on and then dab it back up. Oh, I actually flick some by accident. So, see, my creating sometimes is by accident too. Okay, so I'm just using a little bit of that, just getting it in here on the corners. Sometimes you just want to just let the brush do the talking. Oh, that is so cool. I'm really loving the splatters. Just flick it with your brush, or you could take one brush and then tap it. There's several different ways that you can do it. So, and that's pretty much it. I think maybe, don't want to go over too overboard. Sometimes I take the nozzle and just make some more. Whoa, it's crazy. But I'm liking it. That's fun. All right. Whoa, see how I talk about overzealous. Here I go. Only wanting a little bit and just going with a lot. Lastly, my gravel. Just going to go in a little bit. And since I'm doing this swivel stuff, I'm just going to keep going with it because I'm really liking how it looks. And again, I did this by accident where I just happened to do this one day. I was like, I wonder what I can do with the nozzle. And, you know, turned into something pretty cool. So I'm going back over the gravel. I'm going over my pink. I'm going over the Tibetan teal. I'm going over the crushed shells. Oh, and of course my brown. Can't forget the brown. Love my little brown. I'm just going to dab it, dab it, dab it. I'm liking how these colors are accidentally like Lifetime from Prima. With the browns and tans and like, whew, a bit of the teal. Oh, I don't like those squiggles. Sometimes I just go over it with my finger. I can clean it up a little bit later. Some of my favorite techniques are just really messy, like just really getting in there with my paints. if you make a mistake, just try to clean it up right away. So it kind of looks like it's on purpose, but it's not. Telling you all my secrets. I guess the biggest thing with scrapbooking and this mixed media part of it is, experimenting, and, if it doesn't look okay at first, or you think you messed up, just keep going. Like, you just never know how it's going to turn out. I admit there's been plenty of layouts that never hit the shelf, so to say, because I just thought it was the ugliest thing ever. And that was the end of it. And I mean, obviously, growing in my scrapbooking, that has become less and less. But there were months where I just didn't want to add anything to the internet to show to anybody because it just was horrible. Because I was experimenting and learning and growing. So, whoa! Love how that looks. So messy. And I'm seeing like this is kind of like there's a lot over here and not so much down here. So I'm going to go in just a little bit more in here. And what color do I want to do? I think I'm going to do a little, go back again with the crushed shells. Okay, picking up new. I'm kind of filling in. That's a little too gray for me. Sometimes I also do this to kind of blend the colors. Wow, that looks really cool. Okay, I'm gonna do that over here. Just get it in. Alright, so it looks more evened out. Now I admit I'm one of those people that just doesn't care. If I don't play by the rules. I mean, sometimes it looks lopsided. Sometimes it's there's a cluster over here and there's nothing over here. And, I've realized through playing that that's okay. About a year and a half ago, I was huge on, I want the big cluster here and I want a tiny cluster here. And sometimes it worked great and sometimes it just didn't. And that was okay. It's all about, experimenting again and just finding out what looks good. And to me, sometimes it just didn't look good. See how much I love this tropical tan line. Going over, I'm going crazy. Okay, see how I left my center? That's where my photo is going. So I'm going to keep that blank. Okay. While this is drying, I'm just going to give it a couple minutes to set before I actually dry. And make sure you keep your photo off to the side. There's been many times where I have to go over it with a baby wipe and clean up gesso or clean up ink. Some colors don't come out. So try to keep your photo protected as much as possible. Wow, love how that looks. Let me go over some stamping real quick. And then I'm actually going to have to do 3 videos. And we'll work on that. My chatty cat. Okay, so I just pulled several stamps that I thought would work for my background. You want to make sure when you're using ink that you either use the archiver ink that will not bleed, or you have to absolutely make sure that your ink is dry before you start stamping. The Color Box mixed media inks are my favorite. I also have a new favorite, which is the Invalid Bloom. I know that I totally butchered her name, I'm sure. Sorry. I really like her edgers. I like how easy they are to hold. They go on smooth. Excuse me. But for tonight, I'm just going to use these. But I have used the Archiver's ink in the past. But I find that I get more brilliant color with the chalk ink. When I'm going to decide what stamps I want to do, I typically go for, I like to juxtapose things a lot. You know, if I'm going really pretty with the posies, you know, I kind of like a really grungy stamp. I'm just kind of play off of it, but kind of give that contrast too in style to make it really unique. I mean, I've been watching Finn for a couple years now, and I really like how her style is. She's really grungy, but she also has those posies in there too. I like that mix. Obviously, there's times where I go completely grunge or completely pretties, but sometimes I like to mix it up. And with this photo in particular, you know, you got the pink of her shoes, and you got the little pretty flowers on her shirt against that really distressed fence. So I thought it would be fun to do a mix of, you know, the pretties of the flowers and the vines and all the prima, and do some opposite, you know, contrasting with fun Tim Holtz grunge stamps. Obviously I pulled a cute little prima, I don't know, a branch, and a new sunrise sunset stamp, which is by Finn. And you just kind of play with them. So let's see where this goes. So I'm going to stop my video and pick it up in the next one. Alright, so as I was drawing this, I was thinking how fun the Prima Lifetime line is. And I wanted to go over that with you because this paper kind of reminds me of the colors that are used in it. And I was pulling some of my elements, and I was thinking this is actually Prima Divine, but I like how that's kind of artsy, like it's like sketchbook like. And I think that's what I like so much about the Lifetime, that it's like drips. Here's one. Got the drips down here, and I wanted to pull one. The Lifetime. Up here we have this paper. This is an identical paper. See how I have like played off of this and kind of with the squiggles? That's kind of what I'm doing here on my layout. Just really kind of artsy, freestyle, you know, fancy free, whatever you want to call it. Just kind of just being experimenting with, you know, dragging the mist around, dragging your paint. But also playing off the paper in a fun way. I didn't want to cover this, and I didn't want to cover this doily. I think it's hard to see. I didn't want to cover this doily element, so I'm playing off those two things, but not hiding them either. I think that's what you want to do with your pattern paper. Here I am attaching this to this. This is also a Flying Unicorn Kit of the Month. We got the Lifetime collection. Yarn is another favorite of mine. It's cheap, and it's a great filler. You don't have to, I mean, flowers can get expensive. Everything can be really expensive. And yarn is just cheap, and it fills up your layout. It gives it lots of dimension. You know, look at it. I mean, there's tons and tons of, you know, texture and dimension to it, which I love about it. I mean, I could go on for days about yarn. So that's where I'm going with this. You know, the jagged edges, really artsy, playing off the paper instead of going against it. That's huge. And obviously it takes some experimenting to see what happens with things. But you just kind of go with it and see what happens. So, all right, blah, blah, blah. Here we go, talking all over. All right. So I have my photo in there. I'm going to hold it up so you can see it. All right, perfect. I'm going to do my stamping. I'm pulling the black out of, you know, the shadows in between the spokes and the fence. So I'm going to use my black distress inks, my mixed media inks, and I might mix a little bit of brown in there too, like a dark, dark brown. I'm going to go in with this Tim Holtz. Actually, first I'm going to do this guy because I like him. It's Prima. I'm not sure which collection it is. I'm getting it all inked up. It's going to be really bold. And I'm going to do it up here, I think. I'm just going to go really gentle. Interesting. All right. That's cool. I'm liking it. See, you know, you just kind of go with it. You know, the ink's already on there. If you make a mistake, you're just going to have to work on it. Okay, so I'm going to go really bold. And I'm going to do a cross. Speaking of cross, happy Easter, everyone. Okay, that's a little more bold. I'm going to go back over it, my original one. Okay, cool. Maybe do a little something like that. Alright, I like it. Now I'm going to do it down here. You just never know how it's going to turn out, but that's the fun part of it. Just experiment and just be open to what happens. Alright, that's really cool. Now I'm going to have one jutting out with a photo like this. Actually, let's do an extension over here. And let's do a couple that are like lighter. Okay, so I'm just going in with my basic, really, you know, narrow rectangular shape first. My desk is a mess. Oh, P.S. I am a neat freak, and this mess makes me crazy. So I am trying to work around it. Usually as I scrap, I clean up. Simply because I'm not on camera. Alright. I like how that is. I'm sorry that I have the sniffles too. I'm not sure what's the deal with that today. Okay. Right. I like that. And I think I'm going to be done with that for now. Next, I'll show it to you. Really cool. And I realize that I need to have better lighting. And we'll work on that too. Bear with me, ladies and gents, as I experiment with this videoing. I'm well aware that I need some better lighting. I would love to do this during the day. Now I'm going in with my Tim Holtz. I'd love to go on do this during the day, but with my kitties, it just doesn't happen. Alright. Whoa! I love it! Very cool. I'm going off the page with that. I think that's going to be it. We'll see. Obviously, you know, you're going to dip. You can always go back over. Depending on how dark it is, you can do stamping. It's going to be dark here, and then stamp it again, and it's going to be lighter, dark to light, if that makes sense, to kind of help it blend a little bit better so it's not so harsh. Oh, I love how this goes. I never put my stamps on an acrylic block, as you can see. It's too confining for me personally. I don't like it. All right. It's looking really cool. I love the checkers. Eek! I like hum to myself. I must sound like a silly person. My husband thinks I'm cuckoo too. My husband is actually not here right now, and it is perfect videoing time. Oh, that one's pretty bold. So I'm just gonna go really soft around it to kind of. Oops. My husband's not here. I told him that he wasn't allowed to be in here when I'm videoing, just because I have stage fright right now. Right now, I was kind of nervous to start this, and now I have hardly any ink on it, and I'm just going to the kind of dark to light out to the perimeter. So I'm just going to go gentle on that. Okay. Oh, and I lose my train of thought a lot sometimes too, so I apologize for that. Oh, that looks really cool. Okay. All right. I think my stamping is done for now, and I'm going to quick clean up and embellish. Make sure your hands are nice and clean. Not clean at all, but you get the idea. All right, I'm going to lay my photo down. I have found that the best is this permanent mounting tape. I used to buy the Michaels little dots and found out they were too expensive, A, and B, they last like 5 seconds, and I got tired of it. But I love the dimension that it adds, adding foam underneath. I usually fold it in half to help, I don't go crazy. I see a lot of people that have like really long ones, and I don't like doing that. I'm one of those people that is like, doesn't like to waste. Alright, so I'm laying down my photo. Another thing, your layouts are going to buckle when you use a lot of mist, and you just got to be okay with it. And oh, cute. It's adorable. Ooh, I love that little butterfly. Hope I can get. Oh, it's so cute. Trying to get it so it's not too blurry. Okay. Alright. Let me get my glue out. I'm just going to keep going. I don't know where my vine went. Of all things. Of course it disappears on me. Okay, here it is. Jeez. Okay. Love my Brenton vine. I'm going to kind of bend it around my photo like that. I'm going to just glue it down as is. Oh gosh, I love this Brenton vine. I would buy these in bulk. I do not have the time nor the money to be searching the internet high and low for this thing. But I love it. I love Brenton vine. Prima, make more. Wouldn't that be so cool to make variations of this thing? Love this one. Okay. I typically use Helmar glue, but I left the bottle open and I guess it's under pressure, so it all oozed out in my little caddy here on my desk. So I have none. It's just a darn shame because so I'm stuck with Elmer's glue for tonight, which isn't really helping much, but I'm going to put this down so it kind of, love this little teacup element here. Adorable. I can't decide if I'm going to put it, I think I'm just going to leave it trying to decide here. I'm going to put a little, I think I'm going to put scrap dots underneath it. Oh, yes, I'm going to put my mounting tape. I'm going to need a lot for this guy because I really want it to pop off paper. So I'm going to kind of hold it like this so it really gets high. I'm just going to tuck it in behind my vine. And yep, it's off to the side again. My layout is off to the side again, people. Love this. Oh, so cute. All right. I'm going to actually tuck my flowers in first before I put that little title in. I'm just going to keep going. I hope that YouTube doesn't cut it off. Actually, I think I might because I don't trust YouTube. Not yet anyways. Okay, back for the final leg. At least I know how long it takes for me to get this done. Now I'm tucking in my Prima posies, my little paper flowers from the leftovers from the kit. Just kind of tucking them in my cluster, tucking them in my vine actually. Some of them I just go underneath. Just playing around before I glue any of this. Some things I just know exactly where I want them to go, and then other things that I just don't trust. I think I'm going to actually keep that off up here like that. I don't know how I feel about that yet. Okay, here I go with the thin elements. And it's fun because if it doesn't work, just pull it right back off. I'm going to tuck it. Let's see how I feel about that. I'm going to keep it like that. That's pretty cool. I'm going to make an executive decision and move everything off, because the reason I'm doing this is because it being off center is actually annoying me tonight. Never glue anything down until you're sure. That's the quirkiness of me coming out. And I'm a very fickle person too. I love to experiment, but I'm also pretty particular too at times, so just bear with me, and it's all a part of my creative process. Alright, that's better. Okay, it's not so much jammed to the side now. Alright, going back in. I think that I might actually just put a couple in here this time. It's cute. Just hide it behind there. Okay, and then I don't think. I'm just going to leave it like that. Alright. And I'm going to put that. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that there's this little divot in here and kind of tuck it in behind one of the flowers. I think that's where I'm going to put it. So really primp up your vine. Help give your layout lots of extra dimension here. Oh, this is looking cool. And I think I'm trying to decide where I want this to go. So I'm liking that, but I don't want to hide that flower. See, here's where my craziness comes in. I don't want to hide my flower because I love the bread and vine. Hee! It's the quirkiness in me coming out. Okay. I don't want this to go too close to here. So I think I'm going to actually put it up here. And the only way I really know is putting some tape on it. Just sticking it down. Good thing about that is typically I can pull it back off if I need to. Sometimes I actually print two of this identical photo just in case something happens. I'm going to move this for a minute. I have a feeling I'm going to need a lot more adhesive. I like that. Yeah, that's where it's going to go. And then we can place down our flowers in permanently in their final resting place. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to slap that on directly onto the layout. Okay, sometimes I'm just going to have to go in. Using the cheapo Elmer's glue, it's really annoying me. It's so much faster to do the other way. Okay. Miss my Helmer. I'm actually going to tuck that behind like that. Ooh, that's cute. And how about one down here? Maybe. No. Okay. I'm going to put this little flower. That's cute. Very cute. Alright, so I'm going to put down my fin. Sunrise, sunset, metal trinket here, down behind here. So you can still see it. And then I'm going to put a little Prima paper rose right on top as the center. It's cute. Now, do I want to use the other ones? That is the question. So, love this. I do love this. This is looking really cool. Maybe I'll just leave it. It's cute. Okay. No. It's all just a process of elimination. And I think I might actually leave that blank because that looks good. The fun thing about these metal things are you can layer them. You can put brads in them because there's a hole in the middle. You can put a gem in the middle. You can put beads in the middle. Or you can leave it blank and it looks just as good, which is what I'm going to do. And I have one more. I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. I think it's a little too much. So, and that is it. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through with my black magic. I'm sorry, beetle black. Sorry. And just do some squiggles. Just for some added fun. I like fun. I encourage you to try to experiment with the nozzle of your Glimmer Mist or your Lindy's or your shimmers. Just kind of get an idea of what kind of fun things you can do with it. I like how this is really turning out. Looks really cool. Not getting in there deep enough. That's cool. I'm actually going to go like this too. Fun. And lastly, I am, of course, I'm sure that's not the last thing to do. I'm going to cover my picture a little bit. Cover most of mine. If you're really particular, I would cover every embellishment that you want to at the very end. If you want to go back over with some splats. Oh, I almost dropped. Missed again. And do some flicking. I think. Watch your clothes. Sorry, I cannot be responsible for anybody's ruined clothes. Alright, just come back up with it. Oh, somehow some ink got in there on her shirt. I have no idea. And that looks like that's it. And I will show you the final product. So easy. Let me get this camera off of here. And obviously I will post the final product in better light tomorrow so you can see just exactly how it looks. I think it turned out really amazing. Did it under an hour and took very little work. Just experimenting with color, working with your stamps, coming up with different shapes and angles, making your paper work for you, and your embellishments. See, I did get some black on my pink flowers, but that's okay. Actually, speaking of, I think that I might go back in here and just kind of put some black in the middle anyways. Or just flick black onto the flowers. That's just my artsy self, just kind of wanting to get messy with this. I love that brand vine! And I think we're done. I want to thank everyone for checking out my video. Please remember to stop back if you can and leave me some love or even some suggestions on how I could make my videoing better. I really want to make this work. I've gotten a lot of requests asking, can you make a video? We want to see your process. And here I am. Just be patient with me as I learn. This is a new adventure for me, in particular, as I feel comfortable enough creating, and now I need a new challenge. I want to start doing this videoing. And of course, after I turn off my video camera, I will probably continue to add more. And that's just me. Maybe you can add some fun little hidden journaling. I typically do my journaling on the back of my layouts because once I have all this dimension on the one side, I can't really use the other side. So I just paste on my journaling onto the back, because that's part of the whole process too, writing your story and sharing with your loved ones your thoughts and feelings. So, all right, thanks so much for checking me out, and I hope that you'll come back soon. Thanks. Bye.